So with the season coming to a close tonight and the playoffs getting ready to start, I have decided to do my top 10 Chicago Bulls of all time. And I think you guys know who number one is. It's the greatest player of all time, is Michael Jordan. But this list I thought was hard to compile, because where do you place players, certain players? Where do you how do you do it? And do you take somebody out because of this? And what about some that? And it was very hard to do. This one of all my most recent top 10 lists, I would say that this may have been the most hardest one to come up with. The first couple obviously were very easy, but the rest of the list, man, because some were great players in NBA history, but maybe they weren't great in Chicago, so. But with that being said, I have come up with the top 10 Chicago Bulls of all time, and let's go ahead and let's get into it. Number 10, Kirk Hinrich. Kirk Hinrich did not make an All-Star game. Kirk Hinrich did not do anything really special with his career. He is the Chicago Bulls all-time leader in three-pointers attempted and three-pointers made. He made a couple of defensive second teams, all defensive second teams. And in all time, as I look back on it, when I was in the moment during his career, I kind of hated Kirk Hinrich because, in my eyes, Ben Gordon was the better player, without question. Ben Gordon was the better player, and the fact that they just, they wanted to stick with this guy, Kirk Hinrich, But listen, it is what it is, and give him credit, man. He played his butt off. He wasn't a real good shooter, but he was an okay shooter. As I go ahead and I look at his absolute stats, his field goal percentage for his career was 41%. He was a 37% three-point shooter. So in all, he had a great career. He played 11 seasons. He had a great career, without question. That being said, Kirk Hinrich is, without question, I believe, one of the best Bulls players in NBA, and not NBA, but he's one of the best all-time Bulls players, and so I put him at number 10. It's absolutely incredible. Now, I did not see him because they played before my time, but many say that he was truly electric when he played, and so for that reason and that reason alone, I will defer to my elders and say, all right, you tell me he was good, I'll believe you. Chet Walker, number 9, and the greatest Chicago Bulls of all time. Number 8, Mr. Heart, Hustle, and Muscle himself, Joakim Noah. The 2013-2014 Defensive Player of the Year, a 2-time All-Star. Joakim Noah, he was so much more than any of us ever thought he would be. I mean, when he was drafted and in that I think a lot of us thought that he would be a rotation player, but he wasn't going to be better than Tyson Chandler. And it turned out he actually turned out to actually be probably better than Tyson Chandler when it came down to it. Even though Tyson Chandler would have a longer and better career. At least for the game when it came down for the Bulls, he was a much better player. I mean, you've never seen a center who could push it up and down the floor, pass it. When Derrick Rose went out, he was the floor general. He was the assist guy. The triple-doubles he applied that year was incredible. He was a legit MVP candidate. That's without question. They relied on Joakim for everything. And I can always remember the steal in that epic, the greatest seven-game series of in NBA history. Pushing down the court, taking it from Paul Pierce and dunking over him, fouling out the truth, and then the thing going crazy, and he was just fantastic, and he was without question. He may be there are obviously better players than him, but he may be my favorite Bull of all time, and that is no Bull, and he's number 8 on this list of the greatest Chicago Bulls of all time, Joakim Noah. And here's where I had one of the problems. Number 7, Derrick Rose. See, there was a part of me that wondered, should you even put Derrick Rose on this list? Because you're talking about a guy whose career is basically still going first off, as is Joakim Noah's, but but when he played, he was an excellent player. But the injuries just tore him down, and then he had that thing where after he had the ACL surgery, he missed the entire season. He didn't want to come back until he was fully ready. As John Yurkovich on ESPN Radio calls it, the Derrick Rose protocol. Which now apparently Kawhi Leonard is trying to go through. And everything like that. But he is a 3-time All-Star. He was the 2008 and 2009 Rookie of the Year. He made the All-Rookie team that year as well. He was the 2010-2011 All-NBA. He won the MVP that year. I mean, so, do you put him on this list because of the potential that he had to be? That's what, because first off, I said, well, I just take him off the list. He doesn't deserve it. But is that my personal bias? Because I do have and even though he's been gone for a couple years now, I do still have a tiny bit of personal bias against Derrick Rose. Now, I shouldn't say personal bias. Maybe I'm using it wrong, but I do have a kind of a thing with him where I can't believe the words that he said. Talking about wanting to, be with his family and some of the other things that he said, and not wanting to play because he wanted to be there for PJ, and and so I whatever, so. But there's a point where he said, well, even in his short career, he was damn good. Damn good. He won the MVP, and maybe you could argue should he have won it or not, who knows. But he got it. Because he was the best player on the best team. And I think sometimes that does matter. So, yeah, listen, I've got him at number 7. If some of y'all guys don't think he belongs in the top 10, I have no argument. I would just say that's your opinion. I can totally see where you would come from. But he is number 7 on my list. That is Derrick Rose. Number 6, Dennis Rodman. Yeah, he was only here for 3 years, but he was a centrifugal part of the Chicago Bulls. He is the career average leader in rebounds. He was a force on the defensive side. he was there, and he was there to, lock down defenders. He could guard 1 through 5, even at his 6'8" frame, and he was there, and it was what was needed. He was a major part of the last 3 championships here in Chicago, and even though those only 3 years he was here, but I don't think that doesn't matter. That really doesn't. I don't think that doesn't matter. I think when he was here, he was good, and he was damn good, and he was good enough, and that's all that needed to be said. So Dennis Rodman, number 6 on the all-time list of great Chicago Bulls in history. Number 5, Bob Love. Now, Bob Love, or as he was called, Butterbean, he's a little bit of a personal hero of mine because when I was younger, I had a really bad stuttering problem. And actually, I have, there are times when it still arises when I get nervous, and you may even see it or hear it in my videos sometimes. So yeah, and I really had a pretty bad stuttering problem, but my mother told me that Bob Love had a stuttering problem, and he was able to overcome it and go play basketball, and he was great. And when the 9 seasons he played for Chicago, he averaged 21 points a game, and he shot 81% from the free throw line and 43% from the field. So he was, I think, an incredible player, and he was a tremendous guy, and he was one of those guys that I think that, back in the day, I never saw him live, obviously, because, he played from 1966 to 1976, so I didn't see him, but truly one of the all-time great Bulls, and he's still around today, and you can see him at the United Center, and he still loves his Bulls, and it was great to see. So I think without question, Bob Love, one of the all-time greats, Chicago Bulls history, number 5 on my list. Number 4, Horace Grant. He was the power forward of the first 3 NBA championships of the Chicago Bulls, and he was a definite force. He only made 1 All-Star game, and he was only but that doesn't take away for how good he really was, because that was back in the day when there was a great power forward or a great center, and he was one of the guys who had to guard him, whether it was Ewing or Barkley or Malone or Olajuwon or just many other, McHale, Parrish, my heavens, maybe even Bird sometimes. So he had to face Dennis Rodman and Bill Laimbeer, and there's so many others. So he had the Davis boys in Indiana. So he was so good, and he was so worthy. And he's kind of underrated, but he is without question an all-time great Chicago Bull. And I've got him at number 4. Probably maybe a little controversial ahead of some people, but I definitely think he deserves it. And on my list, he's number 4, Horace Grant. Number 3, Jerry Sloan. I know some of y'all might be thinking, wait a minute, doesn't Jerry Sloan the coach of the Utah Jazz? Yes, but before that, he was also a basketball player, and he played for the Chicago Bulls for the most of his career. He was in the backcourt. He was a defensive stalwart. He was absolutely incredible. He was a 2-time All-Star. He is in the Hall of Fame. He was a 6-time All-Defensive Player. A career average of 14 points But really, again, even though he could score, he was the defensive stalwart in the backcourt. He played with Norm Van Leer, and it was with him and Norm in that backcourt. They would just swarm defenders, and people would say just how tough that backcourt was to score on, and it was mainly because of Van Leer and Sloan, and he is one of the all-time great Bulls in history. His number is retired, hanging up in the rafters, and there's no question that he deserves to be on this list. He is number 3, and that is Jerry Sloan. Number 2, Scottie Pippen. Now, I did a video last year where I talked about Scottie Pippen not being a part of the top 50 players in NBA history anymore. Because back in 1997, I believe it was the 50th anniversary, I believe, of the NBA. And so they decided to do the top 50 players, and he was, honored as one of them. And at that time, he was. But as time went on, the better players have come along than Scottie, and I just think that when you talk about Scottie Pippen, you can talk about everything. 6-time NBA champion, a Hall of Famer. He was the 1993-94 All-Star MVP. He was 7-time All-NBA, 10-time All-Defensive Player. He was a 7-time All-Star. I mean, there was, he led the league in steals in 1994. There's so many things that you can honor Scottie Pippen with. But to continue to call him a top 50 NBA player, I think personally, in my opinion, I don't think he is. And I think he was somewhere. I think I did the math something like that. So he's actually maybe somewhere. He is probably somewhere in between. Like he's at least the 63rd best player in the NBA history, right? if so if you put the 50 and they're like that, so he's like 63rd or 64th, something like that. I can't remember at this point in time, but he's not top 50. But that being said, he is definitely the greatest. He is the second greatest Chicago Bull in history. I mean, the 2 years those 1 year and a half he's without Michael, he put the team on his back. He led the team in scoring, in rebounds, and assists. Not too many players did that at that time. I think actually Grant Hill did it the same year in the 93-94 season. Grant Hill did it as well with the Pistons, and I think very few people have done it after that. Obviously LeBron and maybe a few others, but it is just he was a fantastic player, defensively really good, and let's face it, Michael Jordan didn't win a championship until he had Scottie Pippen, and so I think without question, Scottie Pippen, the second greatest Bull of all time. Now, I mean, come on, guys. Like I said, Michael Jordan's number 1. I'll go over his list, but I don't even know if I really should. I don't even know if I should have to, right? He's in the Hall of Fame. He's a 14-time All-Star, 10-time scoring champ, 3-time steals champ, a 6-time NBA champ, 11-time All-NBA, 9-time All-Defensive, the 84-85 All-Rookie team, 3-time All-Star MVP, the 87-88 Defensive Player of the Year, 6-time Finals MVP, 5-time MVP, 84-85 Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's, the all-time scoring leader. I mean, he's the all-time leader for the Bulls in games played, minutes played, field goals attempted, field goals missed, free throws attempted, defensive rebounds, total rebounds, assists, steals. I mean, points scored, and there's so many others in there. So, I mean, really, you knew it was Michael Jordan. You knew who it was. So, if you're surprised, I can't help you. All right, everybody, that is my top 10 Chicago Bulls list. Post any comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Was there some other people that you were, that maybe should have been in there, that should not have been in there? I looked on like the basketball reference, and there's like Artis Gilmore, and there's, I mentioned Norm Van Leer. Then there's Luol Deng. Did Jimmy Butler in his short time? Should he have been on this list? There are so many other things to think about. And then there's that Derrick Rose thing and Kirk Hinrich. Those may be the two most controversial choices. Possibly. Do they deserve to be on this list? So, it's a lot, but I definitely think I've got the right 10. Post in the comments. Let me know if you think I do. If you don't, who would your 10 be? Put it all down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. This is your boy AJ Tripp signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.